AmploGlobal wants to see information technology group, which is a cost center for every organization, to move its needle from being a cost center to a value center. That's how we perceive a relationship with a CIO or a CTO in the ecosystem. How do I help move the needle for a CIO or a CTO, or even a chief data officer in that way, or chief digital officer? We're all like, there's a relevance and overlap in the responsibilities in the ecosystem. And generally, their budget comes from the same group. How they should move from a cost center to a value center. Now, ESG is a great way to embrace. Sustainability is a great way to embrace that mission and vision and objective. So how we see green IT or sustainable IT is really having the information technology group or operations group be on their toes and have pretty much a clear agenda on how they measure their own carbon emission on the racks and the stacks and the whole, I would say, servers and the whole server stack, which resides either in a data center or on premise or cloud. They have to know their carbon emission. That's part of this. There's also one part of green IT or sustainable IT that I would like to address, which is crucial for business to adopt, is how every time a business person leveraging a technology to run his or her or their own business appreciates the automation that the IT is bringing. And IT needs to exactly be aware of measuring those transactions by the business people as far as carbon emission goes. So there are two aspects to it. One aspect is, as an IT person, I'm measuring green IT or sustainable IT because my racks and servers are emitting carbon, and what steps I'm taking to making sure the carbon emission is lesser and lesser with water stewardship program, temperature control program, and the whole 9 yards. But also it is important to get into the business mode and let the business being aware of that when you're using IT, you're also emitting carbon. And it's IT's job to really, really help business adopt that sense and sensibility, right? Otherwise, the appreciation of the sustainable IT will never be there. So that's where they would move from a cost center to a value center. Because business is using IT every day. And I don't think business sometimes realize that how automation has helped their life. And it's the IT's job to make them realize and ultimately move them from a cost center to a value center. AmploGlobal promotes sustainable IT / green IT and reduce the environmental footprint of technologies. Let's say us as AmploGlobal with our leaders both in the US and India. Most of the time, we work from home. Though we have spaces in India as well as in the US, we work from home. That itself is a journey towards net zero. Maybe we are already net positive because we are a business technology company, we have a SaaS platform, and we hardly emit carbon except when we travel. We in-house, as a company, we have embraced a net positive or net zero culture already. Our software resides in the cloud. The cloud scope 1 is our scope 3, which I think will help us a little bit a better measure and embrace greener IT or sustainable IT. But I'm pretty positive a company like ours is generally net zero already. That's the first thing. So we practice that. The second point I would like to also bring is how we embrace a relationship when we are promoting sustainable IT and reduce the environmental footprint with a customer or a partner. The mantra we always follow is make the business realize that what automation brings to the table and how it makes somebody's life easier and more, I would say, transparent, if I may use that word. And scope 3 emission, which is a big part of green IT or sustainable IT, is a huge practice that AmploGlobal has embraced. And we deploy that with some of our customers who are a little mature. We enable that with customers who are not that mature on scope 3. And I also feel that scope 3 is a topic which everybody's figuring out right now. There's no direct answer. I would say that the way we employ sustainable IT or green IT is just keeping abreast of all these, I would say, little more complicated topics like scope 3 emissions, really staying at the top of the game on these. And while people have already figured out scope 1 and 2, how we really help greener IT or sustainable IT to figure out the scope 3. That's how we promote sustainable IT.